Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Link to the Past League. This is the division finals between Error 216 and the Last Locationers. Last Locationers being up 2 versus 1 against Error 216 at the moment. Goomba is going to play versus Buane today, and with me is Residador to make sense out of this. How are you doing?
Pretty good. Looking forward to an interesting race. This is a mode you don't see as much, so could be prone to forgetting a few things here and there. They've changed the landscape a little bit for inverted. You start in the dark world, move to the light world, and so they've had to make a lot of changes to make all that work. Key sanity means you're less likely to have to do some of the stupid things that you might need to do, like low heart bosses, but still could end up doing a lot of crazy stuff. Enemies hit hard in the dark world, so starting out in the dark world is a little bit harsh.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. But at least with Key Sanity, we are probably not gonna have to do too many early bosses in the Dark World here.
Yeah. Key sanity block means you'll be blocked out of most of the things that you could possibly do. It's got a few other tricks for inverted. Mirror takes you from the light world to the dark world instead of vice versa. We have mirror can do take you into like a lot of random places. Like Mire is mirror accessible instead of desert. You have everything that's a mirror spot in the light world has been just changed to be totally accessible as soon as you come upon it. Things like the High Island have ramps on it. Floating Island have ramps. Some of the spots are just open, and you can do a few things as a bunny that you wouldn't be able to do.
Yeah, that's always an interesting one when you have to go into the light world as a bunny.
Okay, well, my stream was messed up. I did not see that I could not see what they were doing. That explains it. So, as you see what they're doing right now, they're in early start. That's common is to farm for bombs, where you can get guaranteed bombs in Skullwoods. Pretty easy and accessible. Helps you get into Hype Cave. They can also do some tree pools. There are some tree pools in the Dark World or you don't normally see. One by Bumper Cave, there's a tree there. There's one by Hype Cave, the statue, and they could go ahead and kill a couple enemies and see what they get out of those.
Yeah, they're both also dropping down here in the where you normally would drop if you want to get to the vanilla big chest if you were doing this like a casual vanilla playthrough almost, which is a great place to use farm some early bombs. So we see some like intentional death stairs just so you can reset the bombs again, because there's only 2 in all of those spots there.
Yeah, just get like 5 or 6 to get you a good start. One other thing that you don't see too much of in other modes outside of entrance, the arrow game, that's down below by the digging game. 20 rupees will get you the ability to play that game, and there's a trick to get the arrow to hit the targets every time, so you can earn a lot of rupees that way pretty quick. And we do see a 20 in Skullwoods here, so they should be able to play that game when they come upon it, and they'll have enough money for digging game at that point.
Yeah, that's a nice pickup. And we get our first heart container. They're probably not going to be too sad about that. Dark World, most of the enemies hit 2 hearts or sometimes even more. So having a little bit of extra safety. Ooh, there's a blue mail that's definitely going to help as well in those regards.
You're going to take these bombs immediately to Hype Cave. There's 5 free items here. And then probably continue on to Stumpy and the digging game from there with a little stop at the archery game to make sure that they get enough money to do the digging game. So we got this is all dungeons key sanity too, so we're gonna have to kill all the bosses. And so one of the things that usually entails is trying to find both castle, tower, small keys in key sanity. Those are usually your major issues because they can be pretty much anywhere. They can definitely be inside GT. You don't necessarily need to kill Aga before you kill or before you do GT. So it could take a long time to find those. And then you end up with other interesting things in Inverted. We were talking about the mirror. The mirror gets you into Turtle Rock, which you would normally not be able to do. Death Mountain's a bit weird. They removed a couple of pieces of Death Mountain here and there so that you could get to all the ledges. So you might have to jump down and mirror into Turtle Rock. You might have to mirror to get into the mire area. And it's just a bit of a different scenario. So other than that, everything's like the same. You hammer, glove, pearl, they get you your normal light world access through the portals, but we'll see if that's what we get here. Sometimes the item chains in Inverted Key Sandy can be pretty wild.
Yeah, for sure. One interesting thing with Turtle Rock, as you mentioned, you can access it with the mirror, is that like Turtle Rock kind of acts quite a bit like in Entrance in one way, because you can route it like pretty much in reverse, which is kind of interesting. I guess we have actually seen way more Entrance in this season of the league than Inverted. The only time we actually seen Inverted outside of the playoffs have been sometimes in the Mystery Sea.
Yeah, there's a few aspects. I was mentioning the bunny stuff earlier. It's not as likely in Key Sandy because you need both Castle Tower small keys, but if you kill Aghanim, you can do things as a bunny in the light world, such as talk to NPCs like the bottle vendor and the sick kid, which would give you an item. You could walk to mire and mirror. You could get the Bombo Stablet as a bunny. You can actually pull Pedestal as a bunny, but that is like super rare and hard to pull off.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. But yeah, we haven't got too much stuff overall so far. It looks like the Village of Outcasts is probably gonna be holding out on our progression. We did get a lamp though, so if we get a pair of gloves, we could get up on the mountain potentially.
Yeah, a lamp right there means a glove showing up would be very unsurprising. Right now, they would be able to get. Technically, I don't think it's in logic in non-entrance without another weapon, but they would be able to get the first item in Aga Tower if they played their bombs right. They'd be able to get the Old Man item. They would be able to get Super Bunny Cave. You can walk by the Lionels up there. And also, if they were to go up on the mountain, they'd be able to get the Spectacle Rock item as a bunny. That is in logic. We do still have a few items left here in the Village of Outcasts, though. 3 in the village and 4 in the Thieves Town dungeon that we can get without any more keys. And hey, look, it's a gun.
Well, I guess we know where to go next, but we're gonna check out what the rest of the village has first. Very unlikely that we can do Thieves Town. We would have to find a big key, and in terms of logic, probably find small key as well in order to do stuff in the back of Thieves Town. But could still pick up some good stuff in the first 4 chests.
Yeah, Hookshot would be interesting to show up since Hookshot Cave is also up there on the mountain, which they have access to now. All right, so here we go. I think these first 4 checks are about the last thing we can do right now. Small key to Hyrule Castle. Well, before we go up the mountain anyway. Small key to Hyrule Castle doesn't do you much good at the moment. So, and a quirk we have of Inverted, of course, you're going to come out of the mountain in the bottom entrance of the Dark World, and then you are going to have to walk the old man up the mountain to the portal, which is in the Dark World now since it's inverted, and then you'll have to drop down to deliver the old man as a bunny on the Light World Mountain. And of course, you can't do anything else until you do that, so they would have to deliver the old man and then go save and quit back to the Old Man Cave in order to go to Super Bunny. Although it would be prudent to check Spectacle Rock Cave before you did all that. But we do find a hammer, so a moon pearl up on the mountain would be some light world access. And it seems kind of likely that that could happen. It's a little bit weird to not get like quick dark world access in a key sanity inverted. Like it can lead to some weird item chains, but a lot of times you just get these like super quick seeds where you just get hammer, pearl, glove pretty quick.
Yeah, for sure. The interesting part really in inverted key sanity is almost when they get the light world access, like what do they decide to do after that, because the branching possibilities there becomes way more open in terms of the early game normally is.
I feel like you can't go wrong with going straight to the Kakariko area, but with a stop in the sanctuary, the back of the sanctuary, into the front of the sanctuary, because that is not a save and quit point anymore. So it's easy to like isolate that accidentally, and if it has something good, it might take a while to get back to.
That sounds pretty good, and you can get Graveyard Ledge at the same time because you don't need to mirror to it anymore.
Yep, correct. As we see, they entered what is normally Bumper Cave, and that was the Old Man Cave. They switched those to the different worlds. So the Bumper Cave is actually in Light World, and that small key we see up on the ledge, if they want to get that key, they have to get the cape, go through the Bumper Cave in the Light World, and have the mirror in the from the Light World to the Dark World in order to get that key on top of Bumper Ledge. So it's a little bit different than just having the cape.
Here comes everyone's favorite thing about inverted. Jump down the mountain as a bunny and then go all the way up just to get that item inside of Spectacle. Well, we got a flute. That's pretty nice.
It is a nice flute. They can't do anything with it until they get to the Light World, so it's of questionable value right now, but good to have in hand for once they get that Dark World access or Light World access out of the way.
Yeah, maybe an extra incentive for runners to head to Kakariko as soon as they get Light World access.
Yep, we're going to get a check of this one item that we can get as a bunny here. Let's see what we got. Just a heart piece, so I think we're going to have to go ahead and walk up the mountain. Again, check out the first item in Aga Tower and also the 2 items in Super Bunny. It's about what we're left with at the moment.
Yeah, that seems about right. At least we have, so one thing that's nice with the blue mail kicking in here, because getting past the Lionels can be quite rough in green mail without like any equipment. But with the blue mail, that gives you a little bit more of a buffer in terms of how much damage you can tank on the way over.
Yep, and I do have to correct myself. With the hammer, we actually can get over to the pyramid and into pod for at least one item. There's no reason not to check out Super Bunny. They're going to check out Super Bunny first, more than likely. Both of them.
Yeah, I think so. I guess that opens up our catfish as well, because we do have the gloves.
Yep, that's true as well. So there's a couple things to do over there. They're probably going to not want to... They're probably coming up here to check this first. Oh, no, Buane's actually going to go over there.
Yeah, he's going to go for the play. He doesn't have the money to get into pod, though, so he's probably just heading to the pyramid and catfish.
Yeah, also no keys for pod, so... I mean, it's only one item right now. Unless you can mimic clip, there's a couple of extra items you could get out of there, but they wouldn't be in logic. We see Goomba going for the Super Bunny Cave. Got to get past these Lionels. He used his hammer to good effect there. Sometimes the logic does expect you to just walk right through there and just either damage boost or try to avoid taking damage. It is possible with only 3 hearts. A little dangerous, but if you know what you're doing.
Yeah, and Goomba did check what the medallion is for Turtle Rock. It's not always required, but it definitely could be. And it's quick today to get in there. In the meanwhile, we don't have anything on the pyramid, so we're quickly running out of locations here. There's a bone boast that does absolutely nothing to us right now. And there's a big key for ice palace. They pair pretty well together.
So there's a sword laying around somewhere, is what I'm feeling like.
Maybe, but I mean, we would still need the flippers as well in order to get in there.
True, but
In terms of logic.
what if catfish in the first chest of pod are just a sword and flippers?
You know, it would not surprise me. That sounds totally like something Inverted would like you to do.
Yeah, and of course, as far as Turtle Rock goes, it is a little different in Inverted. You can just walk up the tail. You don't have to have mitts or anything like that to get in there.
This routing is gonna pay off pretty well for Goomba, so he's probably gonna head up to Catfish first and then route all the way down to the pyramid and then over to Pod.
Okay, and it seems, speaking of Pod, like we are maybe looking at the first chest in there.
Yeah, I think that's all we have left, right?
I think so, and it would have to be either Moon Pearl or Bow to get more chests, or if you wanted to be really stupid, maybe a Thieves Town Big Key, which would only get you the maiden chest in Thieves Town, or even a Hookshot would be good because it would get you the Hookshot Cave and 4 more checks. Flippers, like you said, wouldn't really do anything because we need a sword to use bombos with.
Yes.
As chat pointing out, also a vanilla pod key would work. That would get you 2 checks immediately. It would be really silly, but key sanity definitely has the silly tendencies.
Do tend to find pod keys in pod quite often, just in terms of there's so many keys in total to find to pod. So that wouldn't be the first time for sure.
Buane just working his way through these last couple checks that Goomba already did. So Goomba's going to be... Oh, he hadn't gone to the pyramid yet, I guess. So they're just walking over each other's footsteps right now. And then I guess we'll meet in pod pretty soon to see what it is that we're going to get to progress us. We do have a fair amount of options right now for things that would get us extra items. I think Goomba's going to get there first, although also Buane's going to have to try to figure out where to get some money. He does have money for archery game, but it's a little out of the way. So he's going to have to make that side trip, unfortunately.
Yeah, Buane taking a little bit of a pause there. Probably quickly realizing that he has to get to pod, which is, as you mentioned, quite unfortunate. Now that he needs to farm more money again.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to head straight over to archery game. He knows what it is that he needs to do, but he's got to take a pit stop.
Yeah, that was pretty good heads up for Goomba. He made sure to farm quite a bit the first time he went through there, just in case. Yep.
And so what do you think we're going to get? What's in the first chest here? What's your vote?
I mean, Moon Pearl seems likely, but I would totally like to see Bow, just to get us deeper into pod.
What about a hook shot for another walk back up the mountain? That seems like an inverted key sanity thing to do.
That does sound like inverted key sanity for sure.
Nope, just the Moon Pearl.
Well, I guess we're going into Light World.
Yep, that opens up so much stuff for us to do. Like I said, I think starting Kakariko is a pretty solid choice. Looks like Goomba's going to make a slightly different choice, though. He's going down to the South Shore area, it looks like.
Yeah, that's interesting. He could always ride Kakariko through here as well. Just go from the south and then work his way upwards.
True. There's also, I mean, there are a lot of items on the South Shore. In the dam, mini Wolverine Cave, Ice Shot Cave. So this is also a pretty valid choice. There's, I think, slightly more in the Kakariko area, but no, you're not going to be hurting for items over here either. Now, other things about Inverted, I don't know that we mentioned yet. Hera is 100% hammer locked, so you can't get in there without the hammer. We've got that already, but desert is book locked. There's no way inside desert that does not involve the books. So we are going to be needing that, and that is like Key Sanity in general has a lot of extra ice rods, basically all these keys that are only locking like one or two things, or boss here and there. So book is just sort of like yet another ice rod that we're looking for.
Yeah, which is interesting. Kind of incentivize you almost to head over to like the Agina shack earlier, just because otherwise you're probably not going there until you have the book. I guess you could wait until you get the mirror and head over to Meyer at the same time. But we do have the flute, so we don't necessarily need the mirror in order to get to Meyer.
Yeah, that's actually another valid point with the Light World Access. They have a couple areas to Dark World that they haven't been to yet that they could also check out. Well, mainly just the Meyer area, but that's still like a couple of quick checks. Buane also going south with this Moon Pearl to South Shore. That's interesting. So far, we haven't seen much there. We did get a cape, and I think that's about all we've seen so far. I don't think we even got any real interesting keys anywhere.
Did not look like it. So Buane is heading over here as well. He's bombing this Light World hype cave, and I'm not even sure what's in here.
I think that was a little muscle memory. Go to the dark world and check hype cave immediately.
Yeah, it looks like Wayne doing some rage slashes, even though we don't have the sword.
We did get to see a often neglected fairy, though, so good for her. She got her moment in the sun. Got ourselves a Ice Palace small key, which opens up a couple more things in Ice Palace, logically speaking, once we get actual access to it, but not really practically needed in any sense.
Moldorms here being really evasive for Buane, doing everything in their power not to get hit. So
yeah,
he's just gonna take them out with a hammer instead.
Yeah, really nice upward hammer swings there. Those are not always easy to pull off, especially with the Moldorms, which are very like twitchy.
Yeah, I think they're like my least favorite enemy in Swordless, just because they're very unpredictable. We're gonna see the bomb shop here to find out what our 5-6 crystals are. Bomb shop being in Link's house, what normally is Link's house.
Yep, another switch to inverted. Buane's doing a very good job of trying to die here on South Shore, but he does have half a heart left to make a Diastrod Cave if he can avoid dancing with too many more crabs. Say South Shore crabs with no defensive or good offensive weapons. Like the hammer hitbox is kind of small to defend yourself in this situation.
Cut it quite close there. He's doing his best impression of just making your own stress test in Link to the Past at the moment.
Goomba, meanwhile, still avoiding Kakariko. We're going to do the escape sequence first, apparently. He does have... Well, no, he does... Yeah, no, they got the Hyrule Castle key, right? So he could actually take this all the way through to Sanctuary and then go to Kakariko from there, which would be, I think, a pretty good idea to do. Get a kind of a noxious like quasi dungeon out of the way and take yourself all the way through to Sanctuary, which is no longer a save and quit point and therefore easy to isolate, and then just continue on to Kakariko. I like it.
Yep. I think that makes a lot of sense.
Looks like Buane maybe... No, he's going the other way.
Yeah, so they might just reunite after. Oh, he's actually heading over to desert area, it looks like. He can get... Oh, he hasn't even done the dam yet, so yeah, he's probably doing the dam and then heading over to Agina and also do Checkward Cave without the getting Meyer access.
Yep. Pairing the dam and Agina, classic Buane. Gets an extra checkerboard check-in for him though, since this is inverted. So three little checks out of the way here. I won't be able to do anything else over there without the book. He will be able to see what's on the desert ledge, although I I don't know if he'll want to walk all the way over there without boots, if it'll really be worth it without the book, but we'll see what he does. Looks like a GT small key in escape so far, so not too interesting yet. Oh, he is actually skipping Agnes. He's going to go to Kakariko from the south. He's fooling us.
Yeah, that's the trick with inverted. It's kind of hard to be effective in the same way as you normally would be. So you kind of almost has to isolate something at some point.
Nice little hammer there. I wonder if he was sending a message. But looks like we're going to finally get a look at Kakariko here on Buane's side. Meanwhile, Goomba hasn't found anything interesting in escape yet, but he's going to continue on to the back and probably all the way through. Yeah, trying to pick a direction in inverted is just really like, especially with this much access to everything when you come into the light world. There's so much, because the light world initially, when like you go from light to dark, there's a lot of checks that you just get out of the way pretty quick in the early game. Here, going from the dark world to the light world, it's just like trying to pick a direction is crazy.
Yeah, and here we go with the good old classic 25 minutes Kakariko shakes. Buane almost out of bombs, gonna buy some more and then just get to the good stuff.
Yep, and we'll see if he goes to Sanctuary from the other side. Like I said, without that being a save and quit point, it can be easy to isolate, but going from south to north here, he'll have a good reason to finish up there. Oh, there's some flippers, so don't have a lot of Zora money yet, but we can get a couple extra checks in that way.
Yeah, I'm starting to definitely eyeball that Ice Palace at the moment. If we only get that a sword first, we could actually full clear it. Ooh, boots in the back of escape. Really nice pickup.
Yep, and a big key to Turtle Rock, which we can't do too much with yet, but hopefully Buane does in fact check the back of Sanctuary whenever he gets done with Kakariko, because missing out on those will feel bad. Alright, so one more check here in Sanctuary, and then Goomba probably checks out the, well, he'll have the Bonk Rocks, and probably check out the Lost Woods area. Now, King's Tomb in Inverted is another special case, hard locked by the mitts. There is no way, oh yeah, and Graveyard Ledge for Goomba as well. There is no way to get into King's Tomb with a mirror in Inverted, so you are required to get the mitts if you want anything out of it.
Nice fire rod there from the Kakariko well, paired together with a big key for Skullwood, so they kind of go hand in hand. And I guess we now have access to Ice Palace without the sword.
Yes, we do. So I wonder if they'll how long it'll take them to go in there. They do have a hammer and a glove and a big key, I believe. So they could full clear ice right now. It's might be a little gross, but it could be done.
There's the second small key as well.
Okay, so now they can full clear ice totally in logic, so that's a little worse because that makes me think there might be something in there.
Yep, we did get a sword though, so that's gonna make Ice Palace a lot nicer to do if we head over there. Can use bombos for the boss fight if you want to, and just having the sword in general, it's gonna be very nice to have, especially now that they're both gonna have the boots quite soon, I imagine.
Yeah, I'm sure they would rather have the cane before going into Ice Palace, because with the new Icebreaker glitch, Ice Palace is much nicer with the cane, but I don't know. All those keys and those flippers and that fire rod, I mean, green mail, this many hearts, Ice Palace is pretty awful. Well, no, they have blue mail actually, so but it's still pretty bad with this amount of hearts. But
yeah,
yeah, it'd be hard to ignore going there. Nice little sync meeting in the middle here.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, it might just be too hard to pass up eventually. We are playing Kisanity after all, and whenever you have like a dungeon you can full clear without leaving anything behind, that's usually a pretty good place to go, because you know you're not going to isolate anything. You know you're going to get a dungeon, which we need all of them. It's all dungeons. So it wouldn't surprise me if both of them head over there and not too long. Do we know if Buane activated his flute, by the way, when he went to Kakariko?
He did.
Okay.
Yeah, they got themselves a pod key out of the Lost Woods, and yeah, Ice Palace. I mean, these guys can handle it. Even in this setup, they're good runners. Might make some other people pause, but like you were saying, you can full clear that dungeon, and not to mention on top of that, having every small key putting it in logic as well to go all the way to Cold Stare. Usually in Key Sanity, those are signs that you want to try to pay attention to.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Buane is going to go for the back of escape, I think, and Graveyard Ledge here. So, walking into Sanctuary, he might be planning on finishing in the back of escape, I think, is what he's going for.
Yeah, looks like it. He does have the small key, so he might be thinking of like going backwards and getting the dark cross chest and then saving quitting from there, but that's going to be a little bit awkward as soon as he picks up those gloves, and he is skipping Graveyard Ledge here. Might not remember that you can do that without the mirror.
Yeah, what was in there? Wasn't there a key or something in there, or am I crazy?
There might have been. I actually don't remember what was.
Or maybe that was nothing, and I'm thinking. I think okay, yeah, that was nothing. Chad's saying it was rupees. So just kidding.
Okay, so that's good news for Buane. He's not gonna be punished by doing that. He might still get a little bit punished by it, because he might go back there later when he realizes that he could have done it earlier. But if he never returns, it's not gonna cost him.
Yeah, I'm sure it was a side effect of inverted. It can be hard to remember all the weird landscaping quirks in this mode, and Graveyard Ledge being totally accessible. Yeah, one of those little things.
It's definitely one of those less played modes in general, from at least from like the general gaming population.
Yeah, Goomba almost leaving Kakariko without activating his flute, but the last second he remembers and dashes back up. So both of them having a little bit of a, small little moments here and there where it's like, oh yeah, I haven't done this yet because it's inverted. And, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So Buane is going to do the front of escape now. It didn't really have anything as far as I remember, unless Uncle had something.
Don't recall anything of importance being over here. Maybe a GT small key, but I mean that's marginal. So right now, as far as like checks they haven't done in the light world, we have Aeginus Cave and Checkerboard in the desert area, which Goomba may finish out at based on where he's been and what he's done. And then we also have the Eastern area. So Hostile has 3 pretty free items, and Eastern has 4. And that is something, again, working when to go to Eastern is another one of those decisions that can either help or really hurt a runner, because there's a lot of items over there in that area. So how long do you want to ignore something that dense is the question.
For sure. I think the one item both our runners are probably hoping to find as soon as possible is going to be the mirror, because that would just help them be as efficient as possible in just routing in stuff and not isolate certain locations.
Yeah, the mirror is somewhat powerful and inverted, considering some of the weird places it gets you into that you wouldn't normally be able to get into. There are a couple of extra dungeons that could be mirror locked in this mode, so they'd be able to do a fair amount at this point if they got that. Also, some other random things, like you can do the smith chain with the mirror instead of the mitts if you really wanted to. You could also get yourself into hammer pegs with the mirror and not the mitts. So there would be a lot of things they could do with that.
So Goomba putting the flute to use. We need Ether in order to get it into Meyer. So that Bombos medallion we got is pretty much useless unless you use it in Ice Palace. Small key and a big key for Feast Town. That's a nice pickup.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen the small key yet, correct?
I don't think so, no.
Okay, so they could clear Thieves Town, but they would have the consideration of the big chest being inaccessible without the small key. And if you isolate that chest, it's something you're not going to come back to for a long time.
And it looks like both of our runners are gonna head over and clear out Swamp Palace. Not Swamp Palace, Skull Woods, before heading into Ice Palace or anything else. Which makes sense. This is another dungeon they can actually full clear. They already got the majority of the items, but there's still 3 left here that they can get now.
Yeah, and again, not the nicest fight, but they do have blue mail. And again, this kind of fight is something they've practiced a lot, these runners. So if the main problem being the spikes that Mothula has in his arena do 100 damage no matter what. So your mail upgrades do not matter in that case.
Mm-hmm. It does help if you're phase tanking Mothula at least. You don't take 2 hearts instead of... or you only take 1 heart instead of 2, so at least that part helps a little bit.
Yeah, they do have the hammer. It's only 4 hits with the hammer. It's equivalent to tempered damage. So they're probably going to try to use that as much as possible. But again, it's just a case of trying to avoid all of these spikes. So it looks like we're going to be in Mothula roughly the same time for these guys. Buane doing a good job of using that spike there to hurt the Gibdos a little extra to get that get him killed a little faster for that key. Goomba attempting the same, but he got away from him a little bit.
Yeah, he actually almost got hit into the Wallmaster as well. Managed to dodge that at least. Buane starting off with a little bit of fire rod shots here. He's out of magic now though, so he's gonna have to do the rest with the sword, which he does very nicely there. Goomba is going for the hammer strand, really nicely done as well. Actually caught up a little bit of time there on the boss fight.
Alright, well, simultaneous, almost near simultaneous boss kills, and that is a crystal, first crystal for both of them, same crystal in Skullwoods here. They could again get the Thieves Town boss down, but again, whether you want to do that without the small key is a very dicey proposition. We are going to see this one chest in here again, and then I don't know, they can full clear Ice Palace, so I feel like that's a pretty decent idea to do here soon. We'll see what they do next.
Nice bottle pickup. It does give us a sick hit, but it's also used premium safety as well.
Yep. All right. So we're getting our flute out. Where are we going? Looks like we're going to the eastern area. Okay. Buane's gonna check out at least the Hostiles closet. He may go ahead and try for the 4 items in eastern as well. But it looks like Goomba is heading for Ice Palace.
Makes sense. Okay, it's gonna be interesting to see which one of these pays off. At the very least, Goomba is not going out of here completely empty-handed, because he is gonna get that 1 dungeon completed in here.
Well, we got a green pin at Turtle Rock, so that means the Ice Rod can land in GT in this scenario. Looks like Buane is going to continue on to Eastern. There are 4 items there. We are still missing enough items that both of these plays could actually pay off, so we'll see what happens here.
Yeah, for sure. And I think Buane is actually gonna... Yeah, he's heading down towards the flipper locations, I think.
Oh, yep, he makes a liar out of me. He's gonna check out the Zora area instead. Oh, a mirror.
That's a massive pickup.
Yeah, that's a immediate payoff for the Ice Palace dip here for Goomba.
Yeah, so Goomba might actually just do the flipper stuff after Ice Palace here. You can use mirror after. No, actually he cannot because it's inverted.
Yeah, but that mirror will allow him to, kind of pair things up, maybe get him a little more efficiency, and it will not be access to East at Mountain yet. Inverted makes that a little bit different. You can't get up on Spectacle Rock. You do have to have either the mitts or hook shot to get over to East at Mountain, so it's not good for that. It would get them. Do they have the small? I thought I saw somebody mention that earlier.
I think they got the big key, but not the small one.
Well,
if I remember correctly.
Okay, they could get at least one item in Swamp, although that's obviously not going to be their first priority. What else does the mirror get them? The Smith chain and hammer pegs we discussed earlier for the mirror. He could actually, well, if they hadn't done catfish, they already done catfish. They can't do anything with that here. Let's see. I feel like they can't get into Turtle Rock yet. I don't believe with the mirror until they can get some East of Mountain access. So
yeah, I guess mirror doesn't do too much quite yet. We do have a big key here on the sword ledge, and we got a lot of the what would you call it? Not useless, but less valuable big keys already. So this is bound to be one of the required ones, I believe, unless it's like the Hero one, which is like semi-required at these points.
Desert one. Okay, so that's something we need, yeah. Well, we can't do anything with it yet, but it is going to be required. That seemed to be all that he got out of the water tricks, though.
Yeah, he got half magic as well, which is not required, but it's definitely nice. And if you needed any extra indicators to head over to Ice Palace, I think half magic definitely helps with that.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty good pickup before going to Ice Palace, which he is about to do.
For sure.
It occurs to me that we also have access to Spike Cave at this point, which we have not seen.
Yeah, that's completely fair.
But looks like they're both going to clear out Ice Palace first. Again, I think the mirror mainly just the Smith chain at this point and hammer pegs. I'm trying to think of what else he could get them without the hook shot and without the mitts. I'm not coming up with too much.
Yeah, I think you're kind of on point there for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I don't play inverted very often either, so it's very possible I'm forgetting something. But that's both of them doing pretty okay with the bomb strats in here. You can get all the ping gators down with 2 bombs if you kind of time it right. Both of them, I think, missed at least one there. It's a pretty nice strat for that room, though. All right, so I think we're just down to a couple checks here now. So far, I think we've mainly seen the mirror and not much else.
Yep, I think we only have Cold Start left at this point. So
yeah,
for if
go ahead. No, go ahead. Finish your thought.
I was just gonna say, like, if you leave here and all you got was the mirror, I think you're still okay with that. The fact that the mirror doesn't open too much quite yet is that's a little bit more annoying. But maybe they just head over to CAC and do the Smith chain right away, and they could check the kit at the same time.
Yeah, having both the small keys here means something on Cold Start wouldn't be that surprising. And for chat, mirror does open 2 rock entrances in inverted, but you do have to have a way over to East at Mountain Light World version, and that's going to be mitts or hook shot. We don't have either one of those yet.
Goomba got a little bit low there, but decided to use the blue potion that they picked up. So just continuing with the fire road strats here. I guess the mirror is all that we really picked up here in Ice Palace. We get a pendant as well. So know where 2 out of 3 pendants are.
All right, so I don't know. Eastern still has 4 items. They're all that are in logic, so still kind of interested there.
Yeah.
Pod, they did get a key for pods, so they could get like 2 more items if they really wanted to, like logically speaking. Looks like he was going to the light world. He may be going to Eastern and then popping in pod after that. Maybe that's well. He hasn't gone to Sahasra either, so.
Mm-hmm. He also hasn't done the flipper stuff, which is something he could do.
Oh yeah, I think where he went to the light world means flipper stuff, because otherwise he would have gone to 5. I would say.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Yeah, he's going down here. He can at least do the island and hobo, and he does have the money for Sora, which is something Wayne did not have when he went up there.
Oh yeah, I forgot. So that is another thing that could hopefully not come back to haunt Buane, but it is possible. I missed that pickup earlier. Misery Mire small key, great for routing. Other than that, doesn't really do you much good. It's mostly helpful for going full left instead of going left right or right left right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you want to pick up at least 1 small key to Mire, make the routing a little bit more convenient. Other than that, it doesn't do much. But getting the first one, that's definitely nice.
Alright, so Goomba approaching Zora, which is a big question mark. If whether that's a good item. Then we're mainly left with the Smith Chain, Hammer Pikes, and Eastern, I think. So, mitts for East Death Mountain necessary because they have all the access points. Portals are the same essentially. In inverted, they're just in different worlds. So the top of Turtle Rock is accessible without anything, but if you use the portals up there, you have to have the mitts to lift the rock, and you have to have the hammer to get out, which we already have, of course, and jump down to the light world. And then the rock on the bottom of East Death Mountain, Dark World, is also a mitts locked rock.
Okay, so this could be a big moment. If there is something important on Sora, it could be quite a while before Wayne comes back there. So this could be a advantage for Goomba, potentially. But it's just 10 arrows, so it's not going to have to worry about that too much.
All right, so I guess we're what do you think? Do you think they're going to go Smith Chain or Eastern first? It's 3 items versus 4, but what if one of those items is like the Eastern Big Key? I don't know.
Yeah, I think isn't it 4 and the Smith Chain as well? Because you get Purple Chest, Smith, Hammer Pegs, and Sick Kid.
Oh, right. Well, Sick Kid's not technically in the chain, so but that is another thing they could do in that area. That is correct. So
yeah, I mean, if they do the Smith Chain, they're definitely doing the Sick Kid as well. Goomba is gonna head to Eastern though. He hasn't done Sashala yet, so that's probably an extra incentive to head over here instead. And Buane have not head over to the desert area yet, so he's gonna get those 2 items.
yeah, and Goomba here could do the 4 items in Eastern and then mirror in front of Eastern and go back in a pod and take those couple keys he got and see if he can't get anything out of them. He also could Mimic Clip if he wants to and get a couple items on the right side, or Mimic Clip and use the hammer to get past the moles and save a key in order to get extra items.
Mm-hmm. So would you rather do that, like head into Eastern first, or do you think there's any value in maybe heading into pod first, just because it's faster? You're kind of restricting yourself into using that small key then, but it's like Goomba is just saying, we'll do Eastern first.
Yeah, I would do what Goomba's doing, just because what if there's a pod key, in Eastern? Plus, you're missing 2 things to complete Eastern, so the odds of finding one or either of those things seem lower than maybe finding another pod key or just something good in these other 4 chests.
Yeah, there's a pod key.
Hey, what do you know?
Yeah, there's definitely more stuff you can find to pod rather than Eastern. I guess the only thing I was thinking about pod first is that Eastern is a bigger time commitment compared to pod.
Yeah, true. I feel like I've played this song before in this mode, so I don't know. Yeah, finding a pod key in Eastern doesn't surprise me. It's you need with the I don't remember how the non-insurance logic works. There's a lot of if this then that type logic, so I don't know exactly how many keys they would need to get to the back. Logically speaking, without the bow, I think they would still need 4 if the bow's not available. I don't know.
I think 3 small keys is enough to get to the back. But that only opens up the turtle room and the dark room in the back.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Buane looks like he might be doing a sick kid into Smith the chain here on his side. So we're getting to divergence. We get to see what both of these things do for us.
Almost skipped Sick Kid and then he had back and skipped Sick Kid again by bombs. He didn't do Sick Kid, right?
No. But he is not going to do it either.
Yeah, let's hope he remembers that before he leaves Kakariko, because that would be quite painful otherwise.
Yeah, with boots it's not as awful, I guess. Buane unfortunately missing the mark on that mirror spot for the Smith and getting bonked. It's kind of have to like learn a whole new set of mirror positionings in inverted. It's easy to pick the wrong one and bonk out there. We do have Ether, which gets us into Meyer, I believe.
Yeah, that's a nice pickup for sure. Now we have 6 new items open up inside of Meyer.
Yep, 7 actually. It looks like we have the big key. Oh wait, no, that's Turtle Rock's big key. Just kidding. So it would be 6. Only 4 of them would be in logic, but there's no reason to not grab the other 2, obviously.
There's the bow inside a pod. Because why not?
Well, if the Eastern big key shows up, it's going to be pretty hilarious, but I don't think the odds are that great.
Now I kind of hope so, just because.
Yeah, so that's 2 extra checks in logic as well. No need to mimic clip anymore. So
yeah, that's nice. But unfortunately, you already spent that key.
Yeah, it doesn't help you with the saving key scenario. Looks like Buane pulled a sword off of the blacksmith there, so a little bit of vanilla action.
Yep, it's not vanilla swords, just turned out to be one of them was vanilla.
Yep, looks like the bow side of pod, not too interesting. Oh, we do have the big key here, so Goomba's just going to go ahead and go through with it to kill Helmsaur.
That's a smart thinking here, and he still is going to have 1 key to get to the back afterwards as well.
Yeah, that'll be good for 6 items. He can get the compass chest and the 2 in the dark maze, and then he can hammer up to get the 2 from the dark basement, and then he can hammer up to get the 3 from the dark maze in the big chest.
Yeah, and here comes the payback for Buane skipping some stuff here. Oh, okay. Whew, I thought that the chest was going to disappear first when he parked there, but no, it doesn't work like that. But yeah, he wasn't able to route this in earlier, so he had to take a pretty slow walk up here to get it now.
Yeah, and he still is saying nope to Graveyard Ledge. I think he's forgotten the existence of that guy.
Yeah,
it's not going to really bite him.
It might be the case. It might also be like because he's kind of. Oh, he's actually going to get the small key from Bumper Ledge. That's a good idea.
Oh yeah, they did pick up the cape, didn't they? So nope, he's not going to do that either.
Nope, he's going to skip that.
All right, well, rip to that key. We'll maybe see that at some point in the future. He may have forgotten it was up there. I don't know.
Yeah, in terms of small keys, the big one sticking out is the swamp small key. The rest of them, some of them opens up a couple of locations, but the only one that's hard required so far that we know of is the swamp small.
Arian chat helping us out there. I forgot this is an entrance, so yeah, that purple chest follower kind of blocks him out of the bumper cave, unfortunately.
Oh,
so, yeah.
Even if you drop it, apparently. That is something I did not know.
Alright, so we got ourselves a crystal from Helmasaur, and there was a small key. I don't think it was a good small key, but it went by kind of quick.
I think it was Skull Woods.
Yeah, okay, so definitely not really necessary. We did get the powder off of the purple chest, by the way, though, so that's another check for us in the Kakariko area, so that's also like the dumbest place you could probably get powder, since you have to get the purple chest right next to the powder magic bat in order to take it over there.
And Buane is gonna check maybe that one chest in Hookshot Cave and Spike Cave, and potentially maybe even hovering the rest of Hookshot Cave.
It looks like he's going for Hookshot Cave first. Yeah, no, I don't think he can do anything else over here besides that one chest and maybe, as you said, hover. Thought he might be just going for Spike Cave real quick, but alright, Goomba has not pulled a lot of interest outside of the bow in Pod here yet, but we are going to hammer up these last 3 chests and see what's here.
And Buane is attempting some hover here in order to get the rest of these shakes out of sequence.
So if he can make this hover, he can bonk to the next 2 chests at least, so he won't have to hover except for to the last chest. Well, or that could happen.
Yeah, that one, the bonking pixels for that jump is pretty precise, so it's not super forgiving. He's gonna have to be careful here. If he fails this hover, he is dead.
Alright, well, I guess he was pretty much of the opinion to give it all he could and then just leave whenever he dies, because he didn't feel like wasting. He wanted to give it a shot and not waste too much time, I think.
Yeah, I think that's fair. He is gonna head back up, but this time only for Spike Cave, I think. Yeah, he is equipping the hammer, so looks like a Spike Cave play here. Yeah,
he did get a Turtle Rock key out of the Hookshot Cave that was actually in Logic. Doesn't do us a lot of good right now, since we can't really... okay, where is he going? He's trying to go to Spike Cave, but he's doing it the muscle memory. That's a little muscle memory right there.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
that stuff happens.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I think Goomba didn't get anything other than the bow really out of Pod. So Myra's looking kind of interesting right now, I think.
Yeah, Myra is looking extremely likely as the required play at the moment, especially with that only being a compass here in Spike Cave. We got like Powder and Meyer. I think that's our 2 options.
Seems like, I think so. And then I mean, Hookshot and Meyer seems like a pretty likely scenario. It's a thing that happens.
Looks like Goomba actually picked up the shovel as well. So
right. Yeah, that was in Pod. So we'll see if that leads to anything. Looks like Wayne is going to Beefstown?
Oh, that's right. We did get the big key for Beefstown.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any runner go to the back yet. This is pretty much committing to leaving that big chest behind unless you, by some miracle, get the small key inside of Beefstown here.
Yeah, it's bold. I mean, it's not like the worst thing to do. It's just it's a real feels bad when it turns out that chest is important and you have to come back for it.
Yeah, I guess it's more likely to not have progression than to actually have progression, right? Goomba quickly realizing he needs to step back into the light world in order to leave this area.
I don't know. I think in Key Sanity, it has the potential to have a lot more necessary items, especially in all dungeons Key Sanity. So I think the ick factor goes up a little bit, but it could possibly just save the time of never having to come back for that too, and he will get another dungeon clear out of it.
Yeah, Buane has done a couple of low percent checks already that didn't really pay off. So he might actually feel a little bit bad about that and like just try to avoid Eastern a bit longer and go for some ways that could either like bypass doing Eastern or maybe like giving you stuff to maybe clear Eastern before you get there.
Yeah, and I mean, the main chest is in logic with just the big key, and I mean, we have seen seeds where that was hard required to do. So I mean, this might still be the thing. We'll see.
Mirroring here, I'm gonna float somewhere. Okay, is he gonna go Meyer or is he gonna go over to the Kakariko area? Looks like he's heading to Meyer, saying enough is enough, and he's gonna go see what that Eastern play actually gave him.
All right, so will we see another rando classic hook shot in Meyer?
Yeah, that would be interesting for sure. And I mean, if hookshot is in here, then it's gonna be a pretty feels bad moment for Buane, because that probably means something is in hookshot cave, which he got 2 out of 4 chests in.
Not necessarily, because hookshot also gives us a lot of things to do on East Death Mountain.
That's very fair. I kind of like glossed over that part.
It'll also give us access to Hera, so that would be something else that we could deal with. We got another pod key on blind though.
Okay, that could be good. When Buane heads over to Eastern, he could potentially full clear all of Palace of Darkness if he does the what's it called, the bottle glitch, his first trip in.
Yeah, if he tries to save a key and then ends up getting the bow, he could just run back around to the mimics again, and then with 4 keys and the hammering up, you can get everything out of there. Looks like we got, what was that in that first chest? I missed it.
We got a Quake medallion. I'm not sure what the other chest was. Quake was in the first Firelock chest. Don't know if he did the lobby one yet.
I don't think he did. But Quake gets us in the front of Turtle Rock, but without a cane, that really doesn't matter. And also, we have the mirror. So once we get East Death Mountain access, we have access to Turtle Rock that way.
Ooh,
so
there's a book in Meyer, so that gives us access into Desert, and we can clear Desert. Not in terms of logic, but we do have the big key, so we can get to the boss.
Yep, that book's gonna be hard required for an all dungeons here. Looks like we are going to check the magic bat here. So let's see if this is a worthwhile side trip.
Yeah, it looks like Buane almost is hard commit. Oh, okay, that's gonna save time, because now you can definitely full clear pod, and you don't have to do like multiple trips for the bullock side.
Yep, and that pod key means there's no way Buane would ever manage to skip the bow to save a key in any scenario either.
And Buane is heading back up to Hookshot Cave. He is
maybe
hard committing not doing Eastern at the moment.
Yeah, I don't know what we're going for here.
He might think that, oh no, because he didn't get Quake. That was in Meyer.
Also, he needs
And
mitts. Yeah.
I think he thought that he had access here. That's unfortunate.
Yeah. Meanwhile, doesn't look like Goomba actually got anything good out of Meyer. Oh no, he got the mitts. Oh no, there's the mitts. Okay, so East Death Mountain is on the table, but it's the mitts instead of the hook shot.
Okay. So that probably means hookshot is up here on East of Mountain, then, of course.
Well, you know, hook shot in Meyer, hook shot behind Meyer, one or the other.
So Buane is heading into Eastern now. It did take a bit of a pause there up on the East of Mountain. It is potential that maybe he forgot about Eastern for a while.
It looks like he's going to do the opposite and go to pod first, but he can full clear this, so this does make a fair amount of sense from his perspective to be able to get every item in pod versus 4 in Eastern.
Yeah, he is going to open up the middle door here, which means he's going to have to leave one item behind initially, but then when he goes into Eastern, he will get that last pod key, so he can just head back into pod and get that last chest. So this is actually going to work out pretty well.
Yeah, fair point, but either way, there's more items in pod for him, so this totally makes sense. And we see a Skullwood Small. I think that's one of the chests that Goomba skipped. Not really worthwhile.
Yeah, Goomba did not get that one and did not get the Harmless Hellway, I believe.
Meanwhile, Goomba's showing the alternate access into Turtle Rock. He's got the big key. He's going to do a bomb jump. You don't see outside of entrance very much to get across there. And check the big chest. Like, it wouldn't be in logic to go into Turtle Rock from this entrance right now with the setup we have, but it would be in logic to go from the left and maybe get this crystal roller from that direction, and also to get Chain Chomp's chest from the center of Turtle Rock with the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
And he did check Mimic as well, which I think was nothing. Oh, there's Ice Rod and Turtle Rock.
Ice Rod. Okay, well that's definitely value. We can't really put it to use quite yet, but if we were to find the Canis Mario up here, then all of a sudden we can clear out pretty much, well, actually everything in Turtle Rock, depending on your routing.
Yeah, they do have access to Laser Bridge as well. If they drop down the middle drop down from the top of the mountain, they can mirror into Laser Bridge as well. So that's 4 more items that they'd be able to get. Not to mention we haven't seen Paradox Cave yet and Spiral Cave, so there's still a lot going on over here right now. Wayne, meanwhile, on his way to Helmasaur King, and then he'll make his way to the back pod. I believe the bow was all that was really interesting in here. The shovel didn't turn out to be anything. So Ether to the mitts out of Eastern, and just this bow here in pod is all that he can really pull out of here. Plus his Helmasaur kill. Then again, we haven't seen Harmless Hellway, so you know, if that's like the Eastern big key, that would be kind of hilarious.
Yeah, that Harmless Hellway almost has to have something good. Otherwise, it feels like Buane is pretty much just gonna run in Goomba's footsteps for quite a while.
Yep, Goomba doing the little backdoor paradox strats here with the mirror. So 7 more items in here for potential goodness, and then he can run back up and do Spiral Cave once he's done in here. And then, I guess no, he's still got the Laser Bridge as well, so he's not going to be out of checks for that.
Nice tempered sword pickup, small key for like a Meyer. That's not super exciting.
Does put the book slightly closer to Logic and therefore Desert. I think that's his second key for Meyer. So we're only like 1 small Meyer key away from the answer being in Desert as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we actually have both tablets available at the moment as well for Goomba. One tablet you can always get to as soon as you have Night World access. The other one, you will need the hammer so you can get over to the Hera.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's another thing that Goomba can do up here. He can go into Hera, and since you can Hera Pot, he can go ahead and get the Moldorm kill. We'll get the big chest, but I think that'll be a sacrifice he'll be willing to make. I mean, I don't know if it's a straight up lead, but there is a bit of an edge for Goomba right now, being ahead with the mitts and these extra checks that Buane hasn't done yet. Although Buane has done some overworld that Goomba has not done yet, so if Goomba has to do any of that, there's potential for there to be a little balancing out there. Oh yeah, hamster. Good point. Can't hear a pot without the hook shot, so we can only get a couple keys or a couple items in Hera. So, but we can pop in there for a little brief visit.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
You kids in your glitches.
Oh well, now we can do at least one extra check in Hera. We also got the small key to Castle Tower, so we could actually mirror to Castle Tower and get another check out of that as well.
Mitts are not necessarily important in inverted. They are important in this case because they are our access to the entire East Death Mountain area. So this case, they're pretty big. So no hair pot for Goomba, but here's his tile room. Castle Tower gets us one check, that Castle Tower key, but we haven't dragged a lot out of here yet.
Yeah, which is quite interesting. This is also not going to be in logic yet because this was locked behind that book. So it's not looking too likely that the Hera basement is actually our intended progression at the moment, at least. Could be later on. What else can we do with the mitts? I guess Kingstone is something that is open at this point.
Yeah, that is a hard lock by the mitts, so we got that going for us. Other than well. So what we're saying is there's a small Meyer key somewhere very close by.
Probably, and he's actually leaving. Maybe forgetting to Herapod here. He's gonna head back over to Hookshot Cave first, and maybe do Laser Bridge. And at that point, maybe he remembers to head back in Herapod and check Castle Tower.
Yeah, so I don't know, it's Meyer Small and Castle Tower or on Laser Bridge? Who knows?
Yeah, looks like it. Quite mean logic here, because the logic wanted you in this case to go into Meyer, grab the mitts, and then go out in the world again, find the rest of the small keys, and then head back and get the book.
This is why key sanity logic is more fun to talk about than to follow.
For sure.
Alright, so here's our laser bridge check. Here's 4 quick checks for Goomba. No Kane again, so we can't do much else in here. Although if the Kane just happens to be on laser bridge, we can totally just finish everything up here. And meanwhile, Buane getting his Ether Medallion, which will lead him to a lot of fun stuff. He's already been into pods, so it looks like... Where is he going? Okay,
he's going back into that last chest in pod, so that's going to be Harmless Hellway, so that's going to be quite interesting to see what is in that chest.
Yeah, it's... Calling a lead is good with as much stuff as we have missing is difficult. Goomba has an edge though right now, depending on what's in Harmless Hellway and some other factors.
Yeah, for sure. Buane is going to have to catch up on a bit of a linear moment here that Goomba has already done. Harmless Hellway has a small key to Ganon's Tower.
Yeah.
Gonna cut it.
If that had been a Castle Tower small key, that might have been a good good little thing right there. But GT small, I mean, there's 4 of those, and you only need 2 functionally to full clear everything in GT.
Mm-hmm. I can see. So what Goomba did here, he actually did end up leaving the rest of Hera, which is something that Buane could potentially cash in on when he heads up there. But in terms of what we need for the logic, I guess we still have Swamp Palace open, that first chest, and the King's Tomb. Is there anything else?
Let's see. We still have Bombo's tablet. We didn't do that yet.
Mm-hmm.
We do have stuff in Desert. Now that we found that hookshot, we know that the Meyer Small has to be around somewhere, I think. So I think Desert would be fairly probable to be in Logic. I don't know where that Meyer Small key is.
That's fair. He might actually get the Meyer Small key here, because there was a key on top of Bumper Ledge.
Ah, yeah, that is correct. So we get to see what this
could have been available this entire time.
Oh yeah, Castle Tower first chest. Thanks, Scooty Puff.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah, that's another chest that Goomba actually left a little bit isolated up there in the mountain.
All right, so will this be our Meyer key putting our book in Logic? Let's see. And there's Mitts for Buane.
That's okay. That's a bit more useful than the Meyer Small key.
Yeah, so if the Meyer Small key is like just sitting in Castle Tower where we don't really need to ever go get it, then, you know, we just skipped a step there. Looks like if the Meyer Small... Well, we know the Meyer Small key just has to be around somewhere at this point. So technically speaking, the Landmos is in Logic, I guess, since we found that small desert key, and it's also a couple extra checks.
Yeah, for sure. You can full clear all of Desert Palace now.
I feel like Castle Tower might be about the only place left for that Meyer key, though.
Castle Tower and first just Swamp, I believe.
Of course, we could be something really silly, and it could actually be like, you know, wouldn't it be hilarious if it was like Kane in one of those spots leading to the Meyer Small key?
Yeah, for sure. We get a mushroom turn in here from Goomba. He picked that up in the Turtruck Big Chest, which was out of Logic at the moment, and I guess still is until we find out Meyer Small key. But probably not gonna worry too much about that Meyer Small key, because I don't think our runners will. There probably is gonna don't care about that part too much.
Yeah, it's more of a case of closing your logical gaps and trying to figure out what you skipped. It can be a little dangerous to assume you're skipping a Meyer Small, but really be skipping a step in the chain of the Meyer Small. Like, for instance, like I mentioned, if it was Samaria, like that would be kind of unfortunate. But the good news is if it's a big item like that, you're more likely to get locked out before, you know, you can check everything.
So we are gonna find out what's in Desert Palace here. That's 6 items in here, right?
Correct, including the boss. I think we saw the ledge wasn't really anything, so he can do Bombos after he leaves here. Or did he do Bombos already? I don't think he did.
I don't think he did yet.
Speaking of Bombos, there's the book for Buane, which means he now has the ability to get to East Death Mountain and also here to Desert. I mean, he could. Did he get the Desert Big Key? I think he did, so he could just go straight to Desert, and it looks like he will.
Yep. And we did see that the right side here that's locked by the small key actually didn't really have anything of value, so he won't really be missing out on anything by going in here without it.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a time save, not worrying about all that. So far, Desert has been very just blah, though. Got a couple checks left in the big chest and the landmost, so let's see if we can pull anything interesting out of here. In terms of things we definitely need, Castle Tower Small and a Cane of Samaria and an Eastern Palace Big and a Ganon's Tower Big. I think that's it?
Sounds about right. Swamp Palace Small.
Oh, right. Yeah, Somebody was talking about that earlier, but I don't think they actually did get it.
Yeah, I don't think so. If they had the Swamp Small Key, I imagine they would have gone to Swamp Palace by now.
Also, yes, Meyerbeck, thank you, chat. So we're still missing like six or seven things that we're gonna need to find. Oh, we got a lot of game to cover still.
Yeah, and we don't actually even know what is required in order to get into Ganon's tower. If Meyer, for example, is the last pendant, then both Kane and the big key for Meyer could be in there, for example.
It's true. We do have a Turtle Rock pendant as well, so that would put the Kane in the unnecessary, well, at least before GT category. Yeah, for the tracker, Buane does have a bow from Pod.
Nicely, Lamon was right there from Goomba, and he's picking up his Kane of Mario.
Okay, well that's important.
That's for sure. Only it really lets us do at the moment would be the 4 items remaining in Turtle Rock. But it's definitely important, and I guess it gives us the green pendant as well, so that's an additional item.
Yeah, not the Trinex himself wouldn't technically be in Logic without a 4th Turtle Rock Small, but the way you can get into to Turtle Rock in inverted means it's not really a big concern. You can go from the back and therefore save keys.
And it looks like Goomba saying is enough is enough. He's gonna head in here into Thieves Town without the small key as well. So if there's anything important in that big chest, that means both of our runners would have isolate that pretty hard.
Yeah, and that would probably work out for Buane to be able to close the gap a little bit for anything that Goomba chose not to check. So and they can like maybe close the gap a little bit that way.
Almost Tablet having only bombs, so that's not something that Goomba is gonna have to worry about, because I believe he did not get that yet.
And here's a ledge you don't see very much in regular, and they have set it up to be a mirror bonk, I think, to avoid any shenanigans. So yeah. There's just a weird little moonwalk thing you can do when you check the Bombos tablet. I don't really know what activates it, but it's kind of fun looking. Alright, so Buane is taking the cane, and he actually hasn't been on East Death Mountain yet, so he can clear Turtle Rock while he's up here. So that's actually good, a good little bit of routing for his sake.
Yeah, maximum items he could get here, as far as we know of, at least, that Goomba did not get yet, would be 7 items, I think. 4 in Turtle Rock, and then 2 in Hera, and 1 in Castle Tower. And then I guess we could say 8 actually, because he does get the green pendant as well.
Yeah, is he going from the front instead of the back? I hope not, because that would waste his key.
Yeah, he might just be checking the first 3 here.
Yeah, that's fair without as long as he doesn't waste his keys going forward, because that would be unfortunate.
Yeah, he could allow himself to waste. He could go to like Shane Chomp without being punished too hard, but more than that could potentially cause some problems if he wants to full clear this. But of course, he doesn't know that the Ice Road is in here yet, so he may not. He doesn't have that information yet.
Alright, so that's blind for Goomba. Gets himself that pod key. And meanwhile, Buane gonna give us a little bit of new information here. The Firelock side of Turtle Rock. Having to do this the slow way without the hook shot, unfortunately. good for him for remembering. Muscle memory can be a real problem at times in this room.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, Goomba. Meanwhile, I think also going to Turtle Rock.
Yeah, he's heading back up the mountain. Might have a little bit of sync up here at the moment, although they would be Buane is gonna have to do quite a few checks that Goomba has already done up here. And it looks like Buane is leaving after those first 3 checks, so he's gonna not waste any keys here, which is gonna end up being good for him.
All right, Goomba. Meanwhile, guess he's gonna also do the front, which is interesting because he could. Okay, no, never mind. He's just gonna take the portal.
Yeah, I think he's just taking the portal, then beating the boss, and then he can do the front.
Yeah, it threw me off there for a second, but yeah, he'll be able to just take a one-time transport from Trinex and get it that way. It looks like he might be Herapotting as well, though.
Buane, yeah, it looks like it. And Buane is having some moment of crisis there, being like, wait, what do I rather in first here on the mountain? But it looks like he's gonna head over here to Hera first, which I don't think that's gonna hurt him really too much, because there was no big key as far as we know on the east of mountain.
Yeah, finding the big key on Trinex would be kind of hilarious at this point, considering they're both about to potentially Herapot here, but
yeah. Nice Herapot there from Goomba doing the boots setup to get it. It took a couple of moments there, but definitely worth it. He's gonna have to lead the big chest, but the same is gonna be for Buane. So that could be a little bit scary, especially since it takes quite a while to get back to Hera in this game mode. But they're gonna get the crystal, which is gonna be nice, and that's actually gonna be the second red crystal, so we could potentially do the big bomb after this as well.
yeah, Buane gonna go into Hera basement to get his key to Moldarm, which is slightly shaped different this today.
Yeah, you think that you're smart enough to fool us and just be able to get to the top without doing the basement? Not today. Just gonna put the real key to Hera in the basement here.
For Go mode, they need an Eastern Palace big, a Meyer big, a Castle Tower small, and a GT big for Go mode. It's and that's really all they need is just keys at this point.
Looks like Goomba might be saying no to that Castle Tower trip once again, unless he does it after Tartarok.
Yeah, that's I don't know. Maybe he's just assuming that's the Meyer small at this point. They really don't have a lot of locations left for it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's fully possible that stuff like this, especially when you're running arrays, sometimes they don't automatically pop off because normally you never ride a normal seed like this. We already seen Buane do that a few times with like heading into the wrong place in terms of muscle memory, but the same goes with like just remembering what stuff you can do in a different order here in inverted. But we're gonna see that check from Buane, so we'll find out shortly if it's important or not.
Meanwhile, Goomba doing a little backdoor Sharnix, doing a pretty good job.
Oh,
what the?
Again, it's tower.
Alright, so Trinix is almost gotta have something, right?
Well, Trinex is not in logic whatsoever.
Oh yeah, that's right. So what the heck? What do we have left that they haven't done in logic?
I think we have Swamp Palace still, the first chest.
Oh yeah.
I think that might be it. But yeah, that might actually be it.
Yeah, I think. Oh man, that's stupid.
Maybe it's just a vanilla small key, and then like Meyer small key is deeper inside of Swamp.
Yeah, this is okay. I mean, either way, first chest Swamp progression is pretty stupid as a thing to have happen. So.
Yeah, why did people vote for this mode in the Link to the Past ladder system again? I guess that it's not all dungeons normally, but still.
I
It's an
mean,
interesting mode.
yeah, I don't know. I think inverted with key sanity is more tolerable than just inverted. So I think
That's
just
a fair
inverted.
point.
I think inverted by itself without keys is like a total dumpster fire and should feel bad. But
Yeah, I think that's pretty close to my personal opinion about inverted as well. It's a cool concept, but it kind of makes every mode worse, if you ask me.
yeah, it's kind of like for the memes at this point. But I don't know. I feel like the more crap you stack on top of it, the more interesting inverted is versus just like a straight open version of inverted, which is just like, hey, go kill blind with 3 hearts, have fun.
And now it looks like Goomba did not do Spiral Cave last time he was up here.
Oh,
I guess
that's interesting.
Yeah. The East F Mountain is really annoying to route in inverted because you have to do so many trips up and down the mountain in order to get everything. There's a small key for Swamp Palace.
Okay, so if I'm reading this right, then we were expected to do a hookless Swamp Palace dive to get the hook, which is hilarious.
Yeah, it looks like it. Oh, Buane mirrored as soon as he got that ice rod, and then he could have actually continued and just completed it, but I guess he still hadn't done some of these other checks here, so he might just mirror from Laser Bridge later on this side.
Alright, so Swamp Small, that means we're down to a Mire, an Eastern Big, and a Castle Tower Small, and a GT Big. So four keys away from go mode here. So I feel like in this scenario, the Eastern Palace is a pendant, so
that means our Eastern Big Key could be in Ganon's Tower. We're still missing a Mire Big Key before we can actually access Ganon's Tower, and technically Tower Hierarchy as well.
Yeah, so we have Diver down, which makes left side swamp less terrible, but I feel like they have a small enough amount left that you would never want to skip left side swamp in this scenario that we're entering in right now.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense, and it's also enough items that you need that you probably just go left side right away. Like if you were only 1 or 2 items that you still needed, maybe you go to the back first, hoping to get them. But I think we need at the very minimum 3 items, so I wouldn't be surprised to see Goomba just head to the left side before going to the back.
Yeah, it starts out with a small key of vague value. So
it's something that could be on Goomba's mind. He still has 2 items left in Palace of Darkness.
That's true. So it would make routing them in fairly easy, at least.
Yeah, he has all the small keys now, which would put all of them for sure in logic.
Meanwhile, Buane on his way to Trinex, gonna get himself a pendant out of here, but all dungeons, so he's got to do this anyway, so no big deal. We do have a Sahasrahla check, although it's not in logic, so...
Yet. It's a keyword word.
Yeah.
Maybe they just get the rest of the Turtle Rock keys here in Swamp Palace.
Potentially. I'm very interested about where this... GT Vicky.
Yeah.
Very interested about this Mire Small, though, at this point. Where it could possibly be. And I feel like it can only be on left side swamp at this point, unless I'm just missing something.
Yeah, I think so. So maybe that's if that's in Goomba's mind, maybe that's enough for him to say, let's not do left side swamp. But even if it is over there, there's still one more item.
Yeah, and he hasn't gotten anything that would really push him in a great direction right now. Until
Okay, now we're actually in pretty good business here, because now we could go into Ganon's tower.
Okay, there's a turtle rock small. Looks like Buane's gonna go for his last check in here as well. Didn't do chain chomps yet. It puts Goomba into Ganon's tower mode, not go mode, because he still needs the Eastern Palace big key and the Castle Tower small key.
Yes, and it also doesn't put anything in Ganon's tower in logic yet, because we don't have the Tower of Hera big key, which makes it a little bit like scary going in there checking for it. But at the same time, I think it's very reasonable just to clear Mire and head into Ganon's tower, hoping to get the last two keys in it.
Yeah, that's actually an interesting point. That's another key that has to be out here somewhere. So.
Ooh, small key of Thieves Down. That's something you don't want to see.
Yeah, so the Hera Big also has very few places left that it could even be at this point. But they may still get away with not finding it. We'll see.
Wayne managed to get everything up here on the mountain, so he's probably going to head to Swamp as well. So if we continue in this linear, kind of linear path right now, then Wayne is only a Swamp completion behind. And if he does left side, he could potentially pick up more stuff that's needed that Goomba has decided to leave behind.
Yeah, Goomba deciding the Mire Big was enough to forgo left side Swamp for now. Which, you know, he could get into GT at this point, and the left side could just be a Mire smaller Hera Big, so not the worst decision. So
yeah, I think it's a reasonable skip. It's just it's a little bit scary.
Yeah, if it's like a Castle Tower key over there, then
oh, okay, there's the Hera big key, so I guess Hera is in logic, which means that Ganon's tower is in logic as well now.
Yeah.
Well, sort of, I guess. We don't still have a small key.
Wouldn't it be like absolutely hilarious if the last Mire small key were just in Hera's big chest?
That would be very gross, for sure, if you follow the logic. That would make Mire, what, a triple dip, at least?
Yeah. Of course, the big danger for Goomba, if there's something left side and Buane goes for it, which he may not either with that Mire Big, is the Castle Tower small key. That's like your real... Or even the Eastern Big, honestly, because...
Yeah, they can both pretty much be anywhere. And especially now that you see the Hera big key in Mire, because we kind of were forced to find Hera big key pretty rather sooner than later. But that means that Hera big key is not on the left side, which kind of gives a little bit extra potential of something else to be there. So.
Yeah, left side Swamp, if Buane skips it, Hera Big and Thieves Town Big would be gross locations for both of them at this point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Alright, so Buane making his way through Swamp. We'll see if he's feeling behind enough to skip left side. Getting that Mire big key would also be incentive for him, possibly, to be able to get into a GT. So
let's see. He is he's gonna go to the back first at least.
Yeah, and
evaluate.
I forgot where we got the Mire big, so we can't actually find this last Mire small in here big chest, but I think that definitely cements that Mire small on the left side.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's right here in the flooded room, I think.
Yeah, so at least one of the items on left side swamp, but I think we can logically identify as useless. But the question is, what is the other side? And I thought he was going back in. Okay, never mind.
That's some pretty nice thinking there. Just having a little bit faster mirror portal back into the light world. So he's definitely heading towards the castle, well, Ganon's tower, and he is going to pick up the big bomb here on the way as well, which now is some sort of logic.
Yeah, a couple of quick checks when you're going up that way anyway, so why not?
Looks like he's trying to set up a dash buffer there from the taking damage, but it didn't really quite work the way he was hoping, so it just decides to skip it instead.
Alright, we got Argus down on Buane's side, so I guess at this point, if he skipped left side, he's probably just going to continue on a Mire as well.
Okay, so the Pyramid Fairy, a red male, and a harpy is not really something that we are looking for at the moment.
Ooh, Buane's going back in. Alright, so this is... Well, this could be big. It could just be getting him further behind. We'll see.
Yeah, it's either gonna like if it's something required on left side, that could be big enough for him to actually win the race. But if it's not, then all of a sudden he is losing a bit of that time that he gained back during the doing everything on the mountain in one go.
Alright, and Goomba is... What is Goomba doing?
Oh, is he gonna climb right away? I guess actually this is totally fine, because when he is done here, it's gonna put him right back outside of Ganon's tower, so he can just head back in.
Yeah, I guess I never thought about that one. That's actually interesting, because he could theoretically get the things he needs in the last 4 chests upstairs.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
I'll have to remember that one if I'm ever stuck in an all dungeon inverted, which I hope to never be. Alright, so Buane, moment of truth. We're approaching the left side swamp. Is it going to have any of the things that we need? Or are we going to finally find that Mire Small that puts all of these things in logic?
So first chest we have a harpies.
Ooh, I think that, yeah, I think that's a rip on the left side swamp.
Yeah, it should be, right? That's the small key to Mire.
Oh, what a grand hookshot logic we have today. Go into Mire to get the book and the mitts, so you can go... No, go into Mire so you can get the mitts, so you can go to East Death Mountain to get the small key to Swamp from Spiral Cave, so you can go into Swamp to the left side to get the last key to Mire, so you can go back to Mire to get the book, so you can go back to Death Mountain to go to Ether Tablet to get the Hair Small, so you can go to Hair Basement so you can get the hookshot. That is very cute.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you yeah, that's actually completely right.
Yeah, so yeah, this is not looking great on Buane's side though, just because Goomba is already in GT and there's not really anything left. I think that Goomba hasn't checked that Buane that could really help him out.
For sure. we have on Goomba's side, he has the 2 chests in pod Buane has on check. On Buane's side, we have Graveyard Ledge, which it looks like he's gonna skip again. Yep. And Bumper Cave, like Goomba did check. And then both of them have the big chest in Hera, the big chest in Thieves Town, unchecked at the moment.
Yeah, those 2 big chests I think are going to be gross for either one of them. Buane is finally remembering the small key on Bumper Ledge though, so there's that.
Yeah, still missing Graveyard Ledge, but at least he remembered there was a key up here, which is not gonna end up being anything important though.
As far as where Buane got where he is, I think it was slightly more efficient routing. Yeah, plus a couple of moments of inverted, brain melt.
So this is a small key to desert. Might actually cost Buane a little bit of extra time because now he's probably going into desert after Meyer as well.
Yeah, it's a hard call to leave item checks behind that are easy and nearby when you're missing a couple of keys that could be anywhere, because if you just go to GT to get them and they were right next to you the whole time and you have to go back for them anyway, it feels kind of bad.
Yeah. I see some talking in chat. Yeah, this is Goomba's game choice. Buane vetoed Swordless.
Alright, so we're going to drop back down on the castle here, and I assume go right back into GT and start tearing up the basement. It's 23 checks downstairs we can get that could have our 2 missing keys.
Yep, probably getting 1 or 2 Ganon Tower small key in here. No, actually, I think we have found all of them, just like Goomba haven't found all of them.
Yep, I know there was one in pod. I don't remember where the 4th one was that Buane got.
So it's a good choice of Goomba to go right side first then, because he only had 2 small keys in total, which is enough to full clear Ganon's tower, but since he already spent one of them climbing, going to right side first is critical, because otherwise he would not have any small keys left to go to the right side after doing the left side.
Yeah, 2 keys is enough to clear GT, but it's very much banked on doing right side first and grabbing that key and mirroring back. And we do see another Turtle Rock small key there, which, given that this is in Turtle Rock was a pendant, totally normal. Green pendant's another thing that we haven't checked from either one as well, now that we think about it. And, I mean, the castle tower key could still be really stupid and be on pedestal, theoretically.
I suppose that's fair. Yeah.
Not an inverted. The lava chest is very, very free and inverted, so we definitely got that. So let's see here. Yeah, GT basement and Sahasrala, Thieves Town Big, Hera Big. Those are our leftovers here for this seed, and so far we haven't got either one of the keys we need out of GT. And we've only got, what do we got? We got 2, 6, like 11 more chests down here.
Looks like we have 12, because they actually have the compass, so we can just count on that.
Oh yeah, I guess I could have used that instead of actually mentally thinking of what's in here.
That's Meyer down for Buane, probably heading into to Desert after this and then heading to Ganon's Tower. Or if he's feeling really behind, he could go for one of those out of locations checks. The one check that both of them haven't done yet that wouldn't be too far out of the way to grab before Ganon's Tower, I guess, would be Sahasrala, because you don't actually have to like complete half a dungeon in order to get it.
Yeah, we are going to get that right side desert check for him, which is not going to get him anything that he cares about, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's pretty fast to do now. Desert is one of the more forgiving dungeons to double dip.
Alright, rando room, bombs and bombs and bombs, and just a red rupee. So, nope, still running out of chests here, and we don't have our keys yet. We do have five more checks coming up, and then tile room makes 6, and then we skip the torture, I think, so that should be everything.
I guess you were correct when you said 11 then. Whoops.
Alright, where is Buane going? Is he
going Hera?
Is he doing like the crazy like play here? What is he going for?
He might feel real behind and just go for Hera here, because I don't think he has anything else up here, right?
Oh, he hasn't finished Hera. He didn't Hera pod, I guess. Or is that just a tracker thing? Is that just a tracker thing?
I'm not sure actually. If he didn't finish Hera, that could actually pay off quite big if there's one of the keys is in here.
Yeah, we saw the Castle Tower key is here in Bob's chest, so Eastern Palace big key would be pretty big for him.
Yeah, I would imagine if Goomba actually skips the tile room, so he is gonna just head straight up to Castle Tower, I think, and he might take the long way around so he can get that Tower of Hera big chest at the same time. And it looks like Buane indeed did not finish Hera first time in here.
Alright, I don't think Goomba's done Spike Cave, so he could do that. It's interesting that he's going up here right now, though. If it's not Spike Cave. Oh wait, yeah, never mind. You're at Castle Tower. Okay, I forgot all about that.
I don't think he ever checked. There's the big key for Eastern. Okay.
Okay. Well, this.
I think we got a game. I think.
Yeah, that's big.
Interesting.
Also, yeah, I for some reason forgot completely that a Castle Tower was up here in Inverted. I was like, where's he going?
Yeah. He'll never check this chest as well. But the question is, what will Goomba do after this?
He's got tile room in GT. He's got Spike Cave. I think maybe. He's got. Yeah, I don't know. This is interesting because the Hera Big Chest is like arguably the worst one to get back to out of all of them. I don't know. It's close between that and Thieves Town. He has left side swamp, so
what Buane needs to do is definitely go straight into Ganon's Tower at this point, because he has some momentum at this point with picking up that big key, but it's not gonna last forever. Goomba is gonna finish up the Castle Tower here, and after that, it's a question of where does he go first. So Buane does not have too much time to play around with here, and I guess he skipped something else in here, up here on the mountain.
Yeah, I'm not sure what though. Oh, did he never go back to Hookshot Cave? Oh, that's fine.
Yeah, that is kind of funny. Seeing that he have spent a bit longer time in here already than he would have wanted.
Alright, so if he goes straight to GT, I think this is kind of interestingly close, because Goomba's got some options that look more attractive than Hera Big, for sure.
Yeah, I would say Goomba is probably still in the favorable position here, but and Buane is heading to Eastern first. That's probably not hurting him too much, because he's gonna have to do this anyways. Checking the big chest doesn't cost him much time, but checking Satchel afterwards, that's the more costly one. But even that one is only moderate in terms of time investment, but he doesn't have much time to spare whatsoever.
Yeah, it depends on which order Goomba does his remaining checks in. If he does Thieves Town big, for instance, that's going to be pretty big for Buane.
Yeah, I would say pod would make a lot of sense. But yeah, he does have a couple of options for sure.
Yeah, he's got a lot of things he can kind of waste time on before he chooses to go all the way back up to Hera.
Yeah, so this could kind of go anyway, but I'd say Goomba is probably in the better position, but yeah, time will tell.
Yeah, we're gonna have to really see where he goes from here, and what order he decides to do all these checks in. The GT has the Castle Tower small key in the Bob's chest before the Armos Knights. All right, so do we go back in to do tile room? Question number one,
Yeah,
and we do.
That makes a lot of sense because he's right here. But where do we go after that?
All right, so this is going to be a little bit of a time consumer on his part. Bob's chest is the one right before you drop down to Armos Knights. It's called that because of the anti-fairy in front, which changes appearance if you don't get the torch item, and turns into a little like transparent looking dude who we have affectionately named Bob for reasons.
Okay, so after this, I would say the most item dense location Goomba has open is the you can go back to Eastern, and no, actually, never mind. I was about to say you can go finish Eastern and do Southshore at the same time, but no, I meant you can go do the rest of Pod and do Southshore at the same time.
Yeah, left side swamp being a thing too. That's 2 items.
That's
although
fair.
if he's paying attention to the logic, he knows that it's only 1 item because of the Misery Mire Small. But that's something that can be hard to quantify in the moment. So he may not realize. I don't know.
Yeah. He did do Bombo's tablet before Swamp, so he doesn't have to worry about that one. He's gonna go into Thieves Town. This is time consuming. So this is something Buane needs at the moment. And Buane also needs to head to Gianna's Tower like right now.
Yeah, this Thieves Town big is gonna be a way to close the gap a little bit for Buane here. So this is good news for him.
Yeah, just look.
I honestly, it's yeah.
Oh wait, where is he?
Where? Oh, he forgot. But he doesn't need a small key. You don't need a small key, Buane. What are you doing?
Yeah,
oh wait, no, he does need a small. He doesn't need a small key. Never mind. I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
He's the one that needs a small key. All right. So I think he's going to GT. Yeah, it's got to be at this point. Got my runners backwards there for a second. Who needs what size key?
Yeah, for sure. It's easy to happen. There's a lot of stuff happening at the moment.
Alright, so I guess we finally get to see what's in the Thieves Town big. We already closed all of our logical loops at least, so it's probably just actual junk at this point. Alright, so do we do left side swamp after this on Goomba's side? That's theoretically 2 items if you're not paying attention, and 1 if you are.
Oof, that doesn't feel good. Heading back into Big Chest of Thieves Town and not seeing any progression. That never feels good. And Buane is not gonna climb right away. But
okay, this is Spike. If this is Spike Cave, that might still be some time for Buane, but if this is Hera, then that's probably over and done then.
Yeah, I would imagine. Yeah, it looks like he's heading to Hera and probably doing Spike Cave afterwards. So this is gonna end up being quite useful for Goomba. I have a hard time seeing Buane being able to close the gap at that point unless something goes wrong on Goomba's end.
Yeah, alright, so makes sense that he wants to pair that with Spike at least. You know, technically it's 2 checks, and if you did it Spike first, then you'd have to go back up the mountain again. Buane doing tile room first, which is interesting. It's kind of an entrance quirk, I think, that people tend to do tile room first when they walk in. Don't see it too much in the open modes, even if you still need stuff.
Mm-hmm. If it goes full right here, you can save a bit of time, but probably not enough time.
Yeah, he still has to go and kill Aghanim, so that's a few minutes.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's yeah, that makes it quite hard to come back from this point.
And he still has to climb GT as well, obviously. So
this is a game of high stakes as well at the moment, because if Goomba takes this win, that means the last locationers will be taking the this is the division finals, so they would be going on to the conference semifinals if they take this one.
alright, so Goomba on his way to Eastern, that's his last dungeon. And then he'll just be on his way to killing Ganon, and then Buane still has to do the GT climb and the Castle Tower climb after he finds the Castle Tower small. So looks like the gap might be a little too much.
Yeah, that definitely looks rough. I completely forgot that he actually needed to complete Aga Tower as well, not just find the key.
Yeah, it's a couple extra minutes on top, unfortunately. Alright, so this was quite a twisty, turny seed in terms of logic. My favorite being the hookshot logic.
Yeah, for sure. So Goomba, as soon as he finishes Armos here, he can save and quit and just end up right at top of Hyrule Castle, since they killed Aga, and jump into Ganon right away.
Yeah, this being inverted, the save and quit with the mirror and Aga kill puts you on the castle instead of the pyramid, since the castle is where all the relevant things happen. And inverted with Ganon and the Ganon's tower being right there. So yeah, it's going to be a very quick warp back, and he will be able to dive in with his red mail and gold sword and silvers, and just pretty much just be done very quickly at that point. Meanwhile, Buane is very close to his last key, but then again, he still has those 2 Aga kills to get under his belt, so probably not going to be quite done with both of them before Goomba finishes. Might even still be doing both of them, I think, at that point. Might not be quite done with either one.
Yeah, I think he'd probably be in the Ganon Tower climb while Goomba finishes at this point, if he continues like this. It's gonna be silvers, gonna have red mail, gonna have gold sword, gonna have pretty much everything you could ever want for this Ganon fight.
Yep, and there is our final dungeon for Goomba. Save and quit gets him right into his throwdown with Ganon. And once we get past this wonderful 1.5 second delay, and then yeah, this fight's gonna be like super easy.
Yeah, that's gotta be the longest 1.5 seconds I've ever seen.
Yeah, so 6 hits per phase here. We're already into phase 2, which is the gross phase in pretty much every version of this fight. And we're going to be ready for phase 3 now, where Ganon jumps up and down and drops the floor on you. 4 hits in this phase. And then we can just pump him full of 4 silver arrows and call it a day.
Sounds like a plan. Ganon being a little bit elusive here. His teleports. Ooh, actually taking an accidental hug there as well. So we're actually a little bit low on health here, but Goomba, even if he were to take a death here, he would still have time to do a refight without having to stress it too much, I would imagine.
Yeah, you don't even need the torch glitch in this situation. This helps you set up doubles if you don't get it, honestly. And then, speaking of, there's a double.
Yeah, and that will do it. As soon as Goomba finishes here, the last locationers will have taken the division finals in this division, and they're gonna move on towards. I'm not sure if their opponent is known yet. I'll look that up. But get your GDs in.
And we'll see if we can get Goomba in here for a little talk about the seed.
Yeah, it looks like the conference semifinals will be against the reigning champions team also. No, yeah. That will be the last locationer's next opponent.
Yeah, Buane on his way up GT. Done with the gauntlet, but he's still got a few rooms here before he gets to Aga 2. And then he'll have to climb Castle Tower to get up to kill Aga 1, and then he'll be able to finish. Aga 1 will give him a nice little refill before he has to drop it again. But not that he'll need it with all the equipment he has.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's been a really good run in general for Error 216 through this league so far. I think they were not undefeated in their division, but they did take the initial season #1 spot, I believe.
All right, Moldworm 2 down for your Buane, on to get Aghanim 2.
Nice triple there to start off the Aga fight. Blue ball getting a little bit in the way, but yeah, another blue ball kind of puts the stop for the free cycle. But there we go.
All right, we are going into Aga Tower for Buane now. He's got to flute up to the mountain though, since we've done a little switcheroo here in inverted. So he's going to get up there, and then again it'll drop him back on the castle when he's done. And he'll be able to just drop him again and kill him.
Gonna be quite convenient, and he's low on magic right now, but the Aga fight will give him a refill of his magic, so not gonna have to worry about that part.
I feel like he still has a potion too, but I mean, but he won't need it obviously at this point. Also, he did manage to miss a sword somewhere. I forget where. Maybe in GT. I think it was behind the Armos or something. Maybe.
I think so. Yeah.
So he, it's slightly less powerful than the gold, but it doesn't really matter overall. It's a pretty easy fight either way.
I don't think it's gonna slow him down. He's very used to doing the Ganon fight with tempered NMG fights, so this one will be an easier fight than that normally is. So we're gonna have more safeties and also silver arrows. So.
Yeah, you can still get a quick kill, like, or get through phases 1 and 2 quickly with tempered sword. So shouldn't really make much of a difference. Alright, just a couple more rooms left in this tower before we face Aghanim 1. I didn't really keep track of how many blue balls we got.
Yeah, me neither. I don't think there was too many, but yeah, to be honest, I didn't quite manage to catch how many there were. According to our tracker, there was quite a few blue balls in this upcoming fight, which, by the way, shout outs to our tracker for tonight, Yonkers White. Tracking just in normal is not the easiest task, and especially not when it's key sanity on top of that. So big shout outs, because otherwise it would be a lot harder to make these free streams happen. And if you haven't followed our runners yet, I definitely recommend doing that. Both of them are really good at Link to the Past rando, and I do believe both of them do other randos and normal vanilla speedruns and stuff like that as well. So, great runners, both of them.
Yeah, we're getting a few blue balls here, just based on how many hits we even have, but we're getting our second round of lightning here.
Yep.
Aghanim's set to give the first attack is always a regular attack. Any of the other ones after that can be blue balls, up to the 5th one, which is always lightning. So I think it's something like you can get a max of 15 blue balls, I think, if you get the unicorn. But I think that was more like 4 or 5.
Buane getting the trident spin in there, and now, yeah, very nice first one cycle phase there on Ganon, and now doing the dash and double spins strat here to just take care of the second phase as well in one cycle. It's really nicely done. So he will get the same amount of teleports that Goomba did, so there should be a couple of teleports here from Ganon.
Yeah, again, silver arrow, so there's not much need to worry about torch glitch or anything like that. And he can just set himself up for a couple doubles if he really wants to.
And he...
Or did he not get this? Did he not get the silver arrows? They're marked.
We definitely have the silvers, but I think he's just flexing at this point.
Yeah, potentially. It's not really going to take him a long time to get this done, even without the silvers. It's oh, there we go.
Oh, okay, there we go.
Okay, nice double at the end to finish off.
Yeah, get your GGs in for Buane. Finishing up this behemoth of a seed that it ended up being. Nice dash into the throne room here.
Don't get to see that too often.
So we'll see. I know that Goomba will be joining us for an interview here, and we have the entire Error 216 invited to join as well if they want to get some closing remarks of their season here in the Season 2 Link to the Past League. So we're joined by Goomba and Buane. GG's, guys.
Hey guys, GG Goomba. Well played.
Hey, GG Buane. What a good mode that is, huh?
Not the words that I would use. I played it really bad. I mean, this is I looked in my my seed folder to try and find the last inverted that I played, and I can say it was before December 2019. So it doesn't go back any further than that. But so this is the first inverted I'd played in a while, and I made a lot of inverted mistakes. A lot of stuff early on that was just super inefficient. A lot of really just bad, not really sure where to go next, doing some really inefficient stuff. Just really bad, just bad all the way through. I got kind of lucky towards the end because a lot of the one-off overworld things that I had ended up orphaning didn't matter, didn't have to go back to them. So this could have been even worse than it ended up. But yeah, just somewhere around that mid-game when I was climbing Death Mountain again for like the 5th time and not even getting any items out of the climb, I was like, this is... Unless something crazy happened, there's not much chance I'm pulling this one down. So, GG to Goomba, clearly better equipped at this, at Inverted, which is not hard to be against me, so...
I used to play a lot of Inverted, but I haven't really played it a lot in the past couple months. I did like one practice seed yesterday to just try to brush up my memory on how to play this, but...
It wasn't even really that bad of an inverted seed. Like it wasn't terrible. And if it was terrible, I would have. That would have been the first thing I was saying. What a terrible seed! It wasn't that bad. I made a lot of bad choices, a lot of bad mistakes. The seed itself was not too terrible. So clearly could have gone much better. Just with a few small. Really just, get rid of the mental mistakes. That's really all they were, and there were just too many of them against somebody as good as Goomba.
The hookshot logic was probably the most hilarious part of this.
God, yes.
Did you, for Goomba, did you work out where the Mire Small was, and did that influence you to not go back to left side swamp?
Well, I figured that was where it had to be. But honestly, the main reason I didn't go back to left side swamp was I figured if the Eastern Biggie's there, I just lose. So let's just not. But the fact that there was still a Mire Smoky out there did definitely influence my decision making a little bit.
And for Buane, I just want to know, what did Graveyard Ledge do to you that you hated so much? You never went.
Yeah, like I said, at some point I realized, hey, I've left and skipped a couple things here. Forgot to do Chain Chomp's chest when I was in T-Rock. Did it after Trinex. Forgot to go back to Hookshot Cave after I couldn't hover to the last 2 things. Just ran past it like 3 times. Forgot about Graveyard Ledge that I could get up there at all in Inverted. And I was realizing this stuff like 20 minutes after the fact and saying, oh yeah, that's a spot. That might be bad. Oh yeah, that's a spot too. Went to Thieves Town thinking I had the small key and then didn't and said, I guess I'm finishing Thieves Town. That one wasn't really, I mean, the small key was a lot later, so that wasn't really a big deal, but just really not, a lot of times, I don't use a map tracker. Maybe I should use a map tracker when I'm playing something like this that I'm not super familiar with, so it would actually just kind of like, I could use it as crutch. It would be better than trying to go off my instinctual routing, because that's kind of how I like to route in like an open regular seed. Just kind of like, hey, you get an item, you know right away it's open to this, and this, because you've played 500 of them in your life. It doesn't happen with Inverted for me. I kind of got to sit there and like really concentrate. Okay, what is that open? Can I get to Death Mountain? How does this work? So like all that extra brain power leads me to do really dumb stuff and skip really stupid things because I'm focusing so hard on trying to figure out what can I do that I forget, hey, there's like a check right next to me that I could go do. And there were a dozen examples of that in this seed for me today, so it's not a surprise that I'm 10 minutes slower here, and I think my collection rate is lower. So yeah, never a good sign.
Inverted's it's interesting. I don't know. I think it's more okay with Kisanity, but overall, it's just kind of a weird mode. It's taken down many people, confuse many people who are very good at the game. So I don't think it's anything to be too sad about. At least I saw your little hammer message that you tapped out there. I thought that was great.
I mean, honestly, that's kind of what I was hoping for with the inverted pick, because the way I see it, we are more or less equals in routing skill, but your execution is better than mine, so I figured I needed to do something to throw you off your game a bit.
Oh, it's a super smart pick. It was really stupid for me to volunteer for Game 4 in retrospect. I should have taken Game 5 and just played something regular. But yeah, that's really the only part that like going into this. All right, inverted. Don't have really high hopes. But the disappointing part is like letting your teammates down a bit, delaying an Eri. You know, if Eri had gotten Game 4, maybe he's got a better shot. Certainly, in this mode he would have a better shot. So maybe that. That's the part that feels bad. You know, you got your teammates kind of relying on you, and they see the league come to an end for them too. With me losing 2 straight, so not a great feeling going out. But what are you gonna do in Rando, right?
Yeah, I was definitely feeling the pressure going into this one as well, having already lost the first game to Eri. But I imagine you felt a bit more pressure since it was basically do or die for you guys.
Yeah, just losing the 2 in a row is, I guess, that's kind of that's a little rough to go out. The seed against Illis really did not go my way, but that was just more of a one-off. This feels worse in that I made like 9 mistakes. But yeah, look,
Wow.
there's we could have played a regular seed and you could have won by 10 minutes in that too. So it's not like Goomba has only won because he picked inverted. It's not like that at all.
I mean, Rando's Rando.
Yeah, exactly. And anybody that's left in the playoffs, all these last 2 teams and all the divisions who are playing this week, anybody on those teams can beat anybody else on any of those teams. So no shame in losing to anybody, no shame in losing to a really good team like these guys.
For sure, there's a lot of talent in the league. A lot of talent.
Looks like your collection rate was only a couple off, so it was pretty even.
Yeah, but that was 9 minutes. It was probably just all Death Mountain. How many times did I climb Death Mountain? I should go back and watch the VOD. I think twice I climbed Death Mountain and got 0 items out of it. So, also, I think I had more bonks with the mirror than I had bonks with the boots, because I don't know where in the world to mirror when you're light world to not bonk in Dark World.
Yeah, the Bombos tablet ledge, I think they disallowed that entire ledge just to prevent shenanigans.
No, I was like, I've been up here before. I know it works in the game. I guess you just can't get there in Rando.
I will say people definitely enjoyed seeing the quite rare light world hype cave.
That was a real great tone setting for the first off messing up the archery game because I wasn't standing all the way to the right the first time, and then saying, you know what, I probably don't have to do this twice anyway. I'll just leave with my however many rubies, and then having to go back and get more rubies for pod. And then the first thing I do in the light world, because that's like my muscle memory. Okay, I'm here at Hype Cave. Let's go into Hype Cave. So that was like right there the sign that, oh yeah, this is gonna go exactly as expected.
Oh, jeez. I only really had one significant mental error, I feel, where I got my hook shot out of Hera Basement and it just didn't click. Oh, hey, I can Hera Pot and beat this dungeon now. Then I was on Laser Bridge and I realized, oh, hey, I could have beaten Tower of Hera. That's awkward.
Did you? Yeah, see, but wasn't there, isn't that where the Eastern Palace Big Key was?
Yes, but I still came back and did it before getting the Hera Big Key.
I had a small hope. A small hope, because I thought about I did Hera before I even went over to East Death Mountain, so I had the hook shot, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna finish off everything over here, T-Rock, all this stuff, and then go back over Hera Pot and finish off Hera. And I kind of forgot after whatever the heck was in Spiral Cave. I was like, oh, this is great. What was in Spiral Cave? Wait, was that
Swamp Smoky.
the Swamp Smoky? So I was like, great, let's go Swamp. And after I like save and quit, I'm thinking, well, I could have finished Hera. But hey, I guess I'll go back up there for Agate Tower, so maybe not so bad. And then when I found an item in the big chest, I'm thinking, hey, this could be like the one thing that saves me. Goomba, Hera Pots, leaves behind this big key, clears everything in GT, and et cetera, looking for the big key, and maybe that can save me, but no such luck, I guess.
Well, that was close to happening.
I think
I
you
had-
probably would. You probably would have checked it when you came back up for Agate Tower a lot later. So I don't think the rest of the items laid out in the way that would have saved me a ton of time there if you had done that. But you know, I did have a little hope when that happened for the first time. I think in the seed at the 1 hour and 50 mark, I was like, well, there's a chance here.
Yeah, I only had a few things left when I went back for that. I had the 2 one-off chests in Pod, Light Cave, which I would have checked right after, and Left Side Swamp, and that's it.
Man, I put off Pod for so long, I basically full cleared it, except I had to get the last key out of Eastern and go back for the chest in the back. But other than that, it was just like one trip. But it didn't really end up saving time because Pod was kind of the key there early game. The second trip to Pod, I mean, after the Moon Pearl. But like I said, I wasn't sure. I kept thinking I had some efficient stuff to do, and then I would go off and go do it and be like, oh god, the light world is terrible, and I'm doing these super long trips to get these like 2 items and thinking I should just be in Pod, I should just be in Pod. And I kept getting Pod small keys in doing all this dumb stuff, thinking, hey, this might pay off. Maybe there'll be something deep in Pod that'll help me. And the bow was just in the front and etc. So
I went to Pod pretty early. And then I got my 3rd pod key in Eastern, and then my bow in Pod. I'm like, okay, well, great. I guess we can just like do almost all the dungeon now.
Yeah, I think I went over there, but I had 4 small keys by the time I went over there. So I just got the 5th in Eastern, and you know, basically cleared it almost in one shot. But like I said, all the stuff I had done to get those small keys before then, that I thought like, hey, I can just do this. It's real fast. I'll do this before I commit to Pod. And then I would start doing it and realize, like, oh god, I got to walk all the way through the Kakariko portal. This is terrible in inverted. Why am I doing this over and over again? And so stuff like that. Just maybe I should have thrown 1 practice seed in there so I could have gotten some of those instincts out of my head. But
I ended up doing Smith Chain with the mirror, and walking to the CAC portal felt like it took about 5 years.
Yeah. Well, I think I went in that portal 3 times. So yeah, I definitely felt like I was aging while playing this seed.
I used it twice, but I had to miss the 2nd time, so that wasn't so bad.
But yeah, like I said, GG's, and thanks to Ressi and Walter for, I'm sure what were entertaining comms as they tried to explain why I was doing what I was doing when I was doing it. It'll be fun to watch it back. And, sad that the
yeah, I'm gonna have to watch this one back as well.
Yeah, GG.
Let's get serious though.
Yeah, we had some good games in the 1 week that we played the spoiler races, and that was super stressful. And then this, obviously.
So yes. Yeah, no, definitely some good games between us. For sure.
Yeah, GG's for sure. Error 216 doing a really good job in the season overall. I would say definitely don't feel bad about this season. And last locationers, you're going over to the conference semifinals against the reigning champions, right?
That is correct.
Yeah, definitely good luck in that one. It's going to be an interesting series.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to those. It's going to be good.
So, Buane, do you have any last overall thoughts about the league this season?
No, it was fun. It's like I said, tough to go out with 2 straight losses, but you know, we had a lot of fun. The team-based weeks in the regular season were a lot of fun. It would be cool to see some more of those. It makes scheduling really hard, so I get why there aren't like team-based events every week in the regular season, but those are a ton of fun, and just something a little different than your normal tournaments, your normal 1v1s or big races. So it's fun doing things with a slightly different format. So the people who are doing the league obviously putting in tons of work, way more teams than I think were ever anticipated this year. So it's been fun to be a part of, for sure.
You could definitely say that. But yeah, GG's to both of you. If some of you guys out here still haven't followed these guys, what are you doing? Obviously do that right away. Yeah, GG's to both of you. Good luck to last locationers in your upcoming matches, and wish all the best for Buane, Eri, and Falane and the upcoming stuff you're doing now.
Yeah, thanks. GG again, Goomba. I hope you guys can dethrone the champs. Be looking forward to watching a lot of those races.
We will try.
Yeah, I guess we'll round this one off. I think this was the last game for tonight on the schedule. No, actually we have JTB versus Fear Agent at 7:10 p.m. and Gamachu versus Willa J. Bradley, both matches the same team, so they're going to be back-to-back matches on the SpeedGaming too. So make sure to catch those if you're interested in more rando. And it looks like we actually have Kyong versus Zero Rush at 9:10 as well on SpeedGaming Free. So if you want to see more rando, we got you covered for tonight. But until then, have a good night, guys, and yeah, take care.